Welcome to Driveway DIY, where we bring the shop to you. Today, we're going to replace a CV axle. First thing we're going to do is jack up the vehicle. We've located our jacking point, which is right here. So we're going to slide our jack up under here. We'll jack this up. Anytime you're working on a raised vehicle, you want to use a jack stand. I'm just going to lower it just a hair to take some of the pressure off the jack, remove the wheel. All right, so we've got our wheel turned all the way to the left. That allows us to get good access inside here. On this particular vehicle, we have to remove two pieces. That's the tie rod end and the lower ball joint. First things first, we're gonna use a cotter pin remover. We're gonna pull this cotter pin out. Then we're gonna use a socket and ratchet. Now we're gonna disconnect the tie rod end. This is a 2020 vehicle, so it's very new. All of these parts will actually come apart pretty easily. Okay, so we're gonna remove the nut and the washer. We got a small hammer. We're just gonna tap on the knuckle. And then it drops out. We just slide that over to the front. Next, we're gonna get this lower. Okay, so this is kind of a funky cotter pin. This is a reusable one. So you're gonna use a pick like this. You just pry this out and then it'll slide back. Then we're gonna take this lower joint off. Okay, so then this will come off. There's also a washer. Pull this up, pull your knuckle out of the way, and then let this drop. Now you can remove the axle nut. You can do this before or after you disconnect your steering and suspension knuckles. So now we're gonna use our big impact. We're gonna give this a tap with a wood hammer, just like that, just something a little bit to knock it out of place. You may need an extra set of hands, someone to pull on the suspension while the other person actually removes the axle. And now it should be loose. There you go. Pull it out. This is the CV axle. This is your speed sensor. There's a CV joint there and there's a CV joint here. You can see that it just completely separated from the inner joint. Okay, so we've got a slide hammer here. This is a shop-made CV axle fork. If you buy a CV axle puller kit or rent one, it'll come with one of these that will fit in here. So it's a little bit of a tight fit. You have to kind of stick this up and roll it in on this particular vehicle. Then I'm going to take the hammer. That's the actual slide right there. And we just need a little bit of room to slide this. There it goes. You want to make sure you get any debris like this ring or anything else, any pieces of boot. You don't want that floating around under here. So now we're going to take the axle, we're going to slide it in here. I've got a helper holding the suspension back so I can get this positioned in here. And then we're going to compress this and get this into the hub and get it lined up. We've got it engaged into the hub. Now we can start putting it back together. So now we're going to take the lower ball joint. I'm just going to kind of hold it and push the washer in. Then the nut. We're just going to get that started. Just going to thread that in just a little bit by hand to get it started. That's the lower ball joint. Then we're going to come over here with the tie rod and we're going to connect the tie rod here. Then the washer and the nut. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and torque the tie rod end. Both of these on this particular vehicle get torqued to the same spec, so I'm doing 70 pound-feet on both. Okay, then you take your cotter pin, just gonna slide it in there. Now we need to torque the ball joint. This is also going to 70 pound-feet. Then we're gonna take this cotter pin and we're gonna slide it into that hole. Now we're gonna take the axle nut and we're gonna thread this on. Then we're gonna zip this on with the impact. This gets a lot of torque. Make sure you pay attention to your torque specs. On this particular vehicle, this gets torqued to 215 to 231 pound-feet. So we've got our torque wrench set at 220 pound-feet. And that's all there is to replacing a CV axle. Find all the parts you need to get the job done at ebaymotors.com.